Good Saturday morning to you, at least Saturday as of the time of this recording, and we're getting ready to head back into Yellowstone for a second day of touring. We're going to stop at the museum in West Yellowstone first, however, and check that out. I think one of the keys to a successful Yellowstone visit is to get an early start. It's 8:30 in the morning right now, and you can already see a lot of the campground, the towed vehicles, a lot of the smaller motorhomes. They're all gone. They're already heading to the park. We're just getting started. So when it comes to beating the rush in the park, we are definitely not the early birds getting the worm. We're the second mouse getting the cheese. So while there's a non-stop parade of cars turning left off that road and heading towards the park gate, instead we are opting to start the day here at the Yellowstone Historic Center and Museum. Housed in an old Union Pacific train station. And apparently it has a focus on early visitors and tourism in the park. So I'm hoping that's the case, because we love that, you know, 1930s through 1950s post-war era tourism stuff. Beautiful entrance. So yes, I was right. There is an initial focus, or a primary focus, on transportation through the park. It didn't take long for the roads to begin. And it's so great that these pamphlets still exist. In today's online culture, we're not going to have artifacts like this to look at in the future. Funny, the three menus, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all from 36, all probably one couple who saved it from their stay. Yeah, probably. Undoubtedly the wife.
And the husband probably was like, why are you keeping these things? You're ridiculous.
Exactly. It must have been quite the accomplishment to be able to afford to stay there right at the heart of the Great Depression. And of course, after the stagecoach, into the railroad era. And you gotta love the giant fireplaces of that era. Train station dates from 1910. So here we're talking about how in the early days of the automobile, they actually did not allow personal cars into the park, and this gives you a perfect example of why. But then they finally allowed private automobiles in on July the 31st, 1915, kicking off the modern era of Yellowstone travel. And then, of course, we get into the tour bus era, arriving by train, many right in this very station, which you can see there in the lower right. And then taking your grand tour by bus. And this is a cool photo. This is like the spiral tunnels, but for cars. And it's not really a tunnel, but an interesting way of getting around the grades.
Never stop groaning. Oh, they're at our RV park. I saw these people.
Oh, Camp Chaos, yeah.
How would you like the name? Chaos. Yeah, they're actually parked right down the way from us at the KOA. If if you were reading this and you're having a bad day, and I am in the playroom by the tent, if you want to talk.
So there you go. Train came in from Salt Lake City. There are actually showers and dressing rooms in both wings of the depot.
This window is huge compared to, I mean, how many, wow.
And we saw the Oregon Short Line in the other room there. From St. Anthony, Idaho to West Yellowstone, Montana. And there's a diagram of the Y, where they would turn the trains around here at the end of the line. Here's a great look at the building we're in. We're currently behind the window in that ticket office. And there's that fireplace I showed you earlier. So now we kind of leave the section, the special section on transportation into Yellowstone, and move into the more generic part of the museum. Here's a great look at one of those dormitory rooms that we read about that were in the east and the west wings here of the depot. And this one here tells a story of Anna Lenora Dreffenbach, who died somewhere in the wing here, the east wing of the depot. It's hard to imagine how many passengers and tourists came through these doors and into these areas. Anytime you get to visit a place that's on the National Register of Historic Places, totally worth it. So that's a great little museum. Took us about an hour, just over an hour to tour it and check it out. I mean, we didn't stop and read every exhibit in detail. I didn't stay in there to watch the movie. Caught the tail end of the movie about the 1988 forest fires, which was really interesting. So, great building, great museum. Certainly, you know, if you're in West Yellowstone, don't feel that the only place to go and check things out is the park. Take some time, walk around the town. There's a lot of cool buildings in this town. They've had a number of fires over the years, so they're not all totally historic buildings, but a lot of them are, and there's a lot of history here that, you know, the natural beauty aside, there's some really cool history here in Yellowstone and West Yellowstone. First stop on today's tour to Yellowstone is Gibbon Falls. And of course there's a geocache here, virtual cache, so I'm off to gather some information at this info booth before I even check out the falls. Priorities, right? Such impressive construction to build this road through the canyon. And the constant parade of Yellowstone traffic. There's a signboard down here at the end of this path, so I'm going to go check that out. And the best part about this is that the crowds all stayed way back. So I'm coming down here, getting away from the crowds, and gonna get a view of some things that's a little different from what everyone else is seeing. All right, let's see what this has to say. Cascading to the caldera. Timing for us here. Things have gotten significantly busier while we've been here, so time to move on to our next destination. another destination down and time to get back on the road and off to the next place.
You can see the different strata. Tilted.
And we have arrived at Mammoth Hot Springs.
Hat. Oh, yes.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Historic Albright Visitor Center. Another bison stop. Looks like some sort of old ranger station across the creek there. Ooh, bison hair. Oh, focus is all messed up. That's cool. This fella is giving us the evil eye from across the road. There we go, some history on that. What I thought was a ranger station, but it was actually the Norris Soldier Station, U.S. Army outpost. Cabin was built in 1908. I guess it was a ranger station from 1918 on. Damaged in the earthquake of '59. Closed until 1991 when it was restored. Very cool. Beautiful and bizarre. These are also words used to describe me. Wow.
Take a picture.
It's a great overview. What?
I can actually feel the moisture coming off this one. I'm getting wet standing here.
Spring. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yesterday. So there we go, just settling in around the fire, relaxing for the last couple hours before it's time for bed. Another big day wrapped up here in Yellowstone National Park, and we'll see you in the next video.